Have you ever noticed how some topics make people lower their voice without even thinking about it? Money, family, the future, and especially inheritance. Even when the words are simple, the feeling behind them can be heavy. That quiet hesitation is very human. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Hour. I'm Emma, and I'm here with David. Today, we're going to talk about how to talk about inheritance in English in a calm, respectful, and natural way, the way it often comes up in real-life conversations. And if learning English through real, thoughtful dialogue helps you, feel free to subscribe so you can continue practicing with us.
That hesitation you mentioned is something I've seen many times. Inheritance isn't just about money or property. It's tied to family, memories, expectations, and sometimes even conflict. So people often choose their words very carefully.
Exactly. And that's why this topic can feel uncomfortable, especially in a second language. You're not only choosing English words, you're also managing emotions. But the good news is that English has many gentle, neutral ways to talk about inheritance without sounding cold or overly serious. Most of the time, people aren't trying to be dramatic. They're just trying to be clear and respectful.
Yes, and in everyday conversation, inheritance usually comes up indirectly. Someone might mention a family home or a will or plans for the future. They don't usually announce, "Let's talk about inheritance now." It appears quietly inside a story.
That's such an important point. You might hear something like, "My grandparents left the house to my parents," or "She inherited some money after her father passed away." These sentences sound simple, but they carry a lot of meaning. The way you respond matters.
And responses don't need to be complicated. Often, people just acknowledge what was shared. A phrase like, "That must have been a lot to handle," or "That sounds meaningful," shows understanding without asking for details. That kind of response keeps the conversation comfortable.
One thing I want you to notice today is tone. When people talk about inheritance, they often speak more slowly and softly, not because they're unsure, but because they're being careful. Matching that tone helps the conversation feel respectful.
Yes, and listening plays a big role here. Sometimes the best response is simply listening without rushing to say something. Silence, when it's calm, can be supportive. Not every pause needs to be filled.
Today, we're not here to teach legal terms or complex financial language. We're focusing on how inheritance is talked about naturally in everyday English, especially in personal conversations. When you hear the rhythm and phrasing, your own words start to feel easier.
And remember, you don't need to share your own story unless you want to. English allows you to stay neutral, supportive, or general. You can be part of the conversation without revealing anything personal. That flexibility is important.
As you listen, try to notice how people soften their language. Words like usually, sometimes, or kind of appear often. They reduce pressure and make sensitive topics feel lighter. Small words, big effect.
Over time, hearing these patterns builds confidence. You start to trust that there are safe ways to respond even when the topic feels serious. That trust makes speaking much less stressful.
So take a breath, relax your shoulders, and listen for the tone as much as the words. Talking about inheritance doesn't have to feel awkward. With practice, it can feel calm and human.
Exactly. And when conversations feel human, language flows more naturally. That's what we're practicing together today.
Before we go on, let me check in with you for a moment. If you're still listening, thank you for staying with us. I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a comment. What part of talking about inheritance feels most uncomfortable for you in English? Is it the emotions, the family aspect, or talking about money? If listening feels a little challenging right now, that's actually a good sign. It means you're practicing with real language. the kind people use when topics are personal and sensitive.
That's very true. In real conversations, people don't prepare scripts for topics like inheritance. It comes up naturally, often connected to family stories or future plans, and you have to respond in the moment. Listening to calm examples helps you feel less tense when that moment arrives.
Gentle encouragement. Many learners worry about saying something inappropriate, so they stay silent. But silence isn't always what people expect. Often, a simple, thoughtful response is enough to show respect and understanding. Your intention matters more than perfect wording.
I've noticed that when people hear supportive phrases again and again, they start using them naturally. Things like acknowledging feelings or simply saying you understand can feel very natural with practice. And they don't require advanced vocabulary.
Gentle surprise. Imagine someone sharing, "My family is discussing inheritance right now." You don't need to ask questions or give advice. A calm response like, "That sounds like a lot to think about," already shows empathy. That's often all the conversation needs.
Yes, and empathy travels well across languages. Even if your sentence is simple, a warm tone and careful pacing make your meaning clear. People feel that sincerity.
This is why listening practice is so important for topics like inheritance. When your ears get used to gentle, respectful language, your mind stops panicking. You start trusting that you can handle these moments. That trust grows quietly.
And remember, it's okay if you're still unsure. Sensitive topics take time. Even fluent speakers choose their words carefully when family and money are involved. You're not behind. You're learning.
So let me ask you directly. When inheritance comes up in conversation, do you usually change the subject, stay quiet, or want to respond but don't know how? Share your experience in the comments. Your answer might help someone else feel understood.
And as you keep listening, notice the tone, the pauses, and the soft wording. Those details slowly become part of your own English. That's how comfort builds, one careful conversation at a time.
Let's look at how inheritance usually appears in everyday conversation. Most of the time, it's not discussed directly. It comes up inside a story about family, a change in living arrangements, or a memory connected to someone who has passed away. People rarely start with facts. They start with feelings.
Yes, and when that happens, the conversation often moves slowly. Someone might say, "After my aunt passed away, things changed a lot for our family." They may not even mention inheritance at first, but it's there in the background. Listening for that emotional layer is important.
Exactly. And when you notice that emotional layer, your response naturally becomes softer. You might say, "That must have been difficult," or "That sounds like a big adjustment." Those responses show understanding without asking for details.
I've noticed that people appreciate that kind of response. They don't always want to explain numbers or legal details. They want their experience to be acknowledged. Being human matters more than being precise.
Another common situation is when people talk about responsibility. They might say, "I inherited the house, so now I'm taking care of it." That sentence carries both practical and emotional meaning. Responding gently keeps the conversation balanced.
Yes, and a response like, "That sounds like a lot to manage," or "That's a big responsibility," shows empathy without judgment. You're recognizing the weight of the situation, not commenting on the inheritance itself. That distinction keeps things respectful.
Sometimes inheritance comes up when people talk about fairness or family dynamics. Someone might say, "It wasn't easy for everyone." You don't need to agree or disagree. You can simply acknowledge what they shared. A phrase like, "family situations can be complicated," is neutral and supportive.
That neutrality is powerful. It allows the other person to continue sharing if they want, or to move on if they don't. You're not pushing the conversation in any direction. You're giving them control.
This is one of the reasons English conversations around inheritance often feel indirect. People leave space for emotion. They avoid strong opinions unless they know the listener very well. Learning to respect that indirectness helps you sound natural.
And notice how often people use softer language. Words like kind of, a bit, or somewhat appear frequently. They soften statements and reduce tension. These small choices make a big difference.
Another helpful approach is focusing on the present rather than the past. Instead of asking what happened, you can respond to how things are now. For example, how are things going these days? That question feels caring without being intrusive.
Yes, and it shows that you're interested in the person, not the details. That's often what people want when they bring up sensitive topics like inheritance. Connection comes first.
As you listen, try to notice how often conversations stay emotional rather than factual. This helps you understand what kind of response fits the moment. You're learning timing, not just language.
And with time, that timing becomes instinctive. You won't need to think about what to say. You'll feel it. That's when these conversations start to feel natural and calm.
Those small instincts are signs of real progress. They show that you're not just learning English, you're learning how to connect through it.
And connection is what makes even difficult topics feel manageable. That's the rhythm we're practicing together.
There's another moment when inheritance can feel especially delicate, when someone is still in the middle of the situation, not after everything is settled, but while decisions are being discussed and emotions are still close to the surface. That's often when people choose their words very carefully.
Yes, because at that stage, nothing feels final. Someone might say, "We're still figuring things out," or "My family is talking about it right now." Those sentences carry uncertainty, and the conversation usually slows down naturally. Rushing a response can feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. In those moments, English gives you very gentle ways to respond without pushing for details. You might say, "That sounds like a lot to think about," or "I hope things work out smoothly." Those phrases show care without asking questions.
I like those responses because they don't take sides. They don't suggest opinions. They simply acknowledge that the situation exists. And sometimes that's all people want.
And that recognition matters a lot. Sensitive conversations don't need solutions, they need space. Silence, when it's calm, can be supportive. Sometimes saying less is actually saying more.
I've noticed that people often remember how someone responded, not the exact words. A calm tone, a thoughtful pause, and gentle phrasing leave a lasting impression. That's especially true with family-related topics.
There's also moments when someone shares something briefly and then moves on. They might mention inheritance in one sentence and change the topic right away. Following their lead is important.
Yes, and that means you don't need to bring it back up unless they do. Respecting that boundary shows emotional awareness. English allows conversations to move forward naturally without closure. Not every topic needs a full discussion.
Another helpful strategy is using general language instead of personal language. Saying, "family situations like that can be tough,"
keeps the focus broad and avoids pressure. It creates connection without intrusion.
That general approach works well when you're not close to the person or when you're unsure how much they want to share. It keeps the conversations safe and respectful. And it sounds very natural in English.
As you listen, notice how inheritance conversations often move gently in and out of focus. They appear, they pause, and then they fade into something else. That rhythm tells you a lot about how to respond.
And when you follow that rhythm, conversations feel easier. You're not forcing language, you're responding to the moment. That responsiveness is a key part of fluency.
With practice, you'll start trusting yourself more in these situations. You'll sense when to speak, when to pause, and when to simply listen. Those instincts make sensitive conversations feel manageable.
Exactly. When you trust your instincts, language becomes a tool for care, not stress. That's the balance we're building together.
As we reach the end of this conversation, I want you to notice something reassuring. Talking about inheritance in English doesn't require detailed knowledge or perfect wording. It requires care, patience, and a willingness to listen. And those are qualities you already bring into your conversations.
Yes, and when you think about everything we've shared, inheritance is really about people, not possessions. It's about family relationships, memories, and change. When you keep that in mind, the language naturally becomes softer. You speak as a person first, not as a speaker of English.
It's also completely normal if this topic still feels a little heavy. Sensitive conversations often do. Confidence doesn't mean feeling comfortable all the time. It means knowing that you can respond with respect, even when emotions are present. That awareness is a strength.
I've seen learners realize this and relax almost immediately. They stop searching for the perfect sentence and start focusing on the moment. That shift makes conversations feel much more natural.
I love seeing that. If today's conversation helped you feel even slightly more prepared, that's real progress. You don't need to master this topic. You just need to feel calm enough to handle it when it appears. And calm grows with exposure.
Exactly. Listening again and again builds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust, and trust makes speaking easier, especially with topics tied to family and emotion. You're building that trust quietly.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We truly appreciate you listening, reflecting, and practicing alongside us. If you'd like to continue learning through real, human conversations like this one, don't forget to subscribe to Daily English Hour so you can join us for the next video.
And we'd really love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell us, which sensitive topic do you find hardest to talk about in English? Family, money, emotions, or something else? Your thoughts help shape what we talk about next.
Finally, be kind to yourself. Language learning is not about speed or perfection. It's about awareness, empathy, and growth over time. Every thoughtful conversation moves you forward.
Keep listening, keep noticing tone and rhythm, and keep trusting yourself. We'll be here with you in the next conversation.